What is an internship and should you get one? That's what we're going to talk about on this episode of College on Fleek. So if you've ever wondered if you should get an internship or like what is an internship, that's what we're going to talk about in this episode of College on Fleek. I'm Mary Dittman. I'm an award-winning business professor on the collegiate level and the creator of College on Fleek and One-Derful Life. Now, before we talk about internships, I just want to give you a little motivation minute here. Sometimes it can be really hard to get started on something you don't want to do, like studying or making a phone call that you need to make or cleaning up part of your room or your apartment or cleaning out your car. It can even be hard to find the motivation to go to the gym. A hack that was taught to me that has helped me is just do whatever it is for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, if you're totally miserable and you're not getting results, then quit. Now, this works for me. So for example, if I say, okay, I'm just gonna run on the treadmill for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, if I'm really miserable, I'll stop and go home. Now, for some people that wouldn't be enough. Then I would say maybe do 10 minutes. But for most people, once you get into 5 minutes of the activity, you're in the zone and you'll stay with it. And it may not be that you're like, yeah, I really love running on the treadmill, but you would say, okay, this isn't terrible. I'm gonna keep going and do whatever time or mileage that you wanted to do. I had a sales manager do this with me one time. I had been making phone calls to set up appointments for myself, and I was getting no appointments. And I called her and I was so frustrated and discouraged, and she said, you know what, just make phone calls for 5 more minutes and call me back. And I made phone calls for 5 more minutes. I booked 2 appointments, and of course then I was motivated to keep going. So just whatever it is, try doing it for 5 minutes and see if your motivation doesn't kick in. Now, every week I like to give you a study hack or a success hack, and this week I want to share with you a hack that it has been very helpful for me, and I see a lot of students who need to adopt this hack, and once they started doing it, have told me that their life got a lot easier, and that is write stuff down. You think you're going to remember things, but you won't. And many times putting stuff in your phone may or may not be enough of a trigger. Now, if you set an alarm to remind yourself, like for example, if you have a paper due in 7 days, then set an alarm on your phone that'll tell you paper due in 48 hours or something like that. For me, personally, I had to have a backup system for my phone because a few years ago on spring break, I was flying out to the West Coast to see my family, and my phone got wet and it died. And everything was in my phone. I don't even know my mother's phone number. So I went back to using an old school paper planner. Now, of course, I still use my phone, but for important things like appointments and important contact information, any notes that are critical that I really can't afford to lose, the old paper calendar is what I use. Now, I use a small version. It's actually my wallet and it's my calendar, and so I have it with me. It's easy for me to carry around in my bag. But writing things down and keeping track of what do you have due, where are you supposed to be and when, is going to make your life so much easier. We lose a lot of time and energy because we forget things. So there's a hack for you. Write things down. Now, if you want some major study hacks, go to collegeonfleek.com. I have a bunch of stuff there for you, but one of the things is the Study Smart Toolkit, and this is the 3-step system that I've been teaching. I've taught thousands of students how to study. It worked for me. I had really bad test anxiety. This is how I got over it. And it has worked for students that I've coached in how to do this. So it's a one-on-one video training. I'm teaching you how to study, and it works. So go to collegeonfleek.com, get your Study Smart Toolkit. All right, let's talk about internships. First of all, what is an internship? An internship is where you work at a company or an organization, and normally you will get college credit for that. Now, at the university where I teach at Francis Marion, we have within the School of Business, and actually within other majors as well, we have an internship class that the students earn 3 hours of credit. Now, they enroll as a class, but I am the director of the internship program. That's how I know what I'm talking about. I don't have class meetings. I don't want them sitting in a classroom. The point of the internship is for them to take what they've been learning in the classroom all these years and then go out and apply it. So an internship is normally a work experience and you're getting class credit. There are companies who offer what they call an internship, and many times it's part-time, it could be full-time, it may be paid or unpaid, and it's not tied to a university for any college credit, but it's a way for you to work in the business, and it's a way for you to get good experience. I encourage students to get internships, and I've had students who have told me, well, I don't want to enroll in the internship class at the school, but I have the opportunity to do an internship with this company. Great, do it. A few years ago, Sheryl Sandberg at Facebook came under fire because she was offering some unpaid internships, or they may have been paid, but for a really low hourly rate. I can't remember. But if I was in college and I had the opportunity to work for the chief operating officer of Facebook, and she said, I'm going to let you come and work with me and for me for 20 hours a week, I would have done that for free. So it's not always about getting paid for the internship. Some internships are paid, but depending on your situation, you might have an opportunity to do a really great internship and you might not be paid. But look at the experience. I mean, heck, I would pay Sheryl Sandberg $20 an hour to let me come do a free internship. I mean, what would it be worth to you to spend an hour with the chief operating officer of Facebook? Yeah, I would do that for free. So do you need an internship? I don't know, depends. It never hurts. An internship will never hurt, it'll only help you. When you're out there looking for a job after college, listen, having a degree is great and that can be really important, but think about it like this. You're now out there applying for jobs with all the other people you graduated with all over the country who graduated from every other school with you, and you all have college degrees. How are you going to stand out? One way that you can stand out is having done an internship. And that's why I like the internship class, because you take it while you're in school and it's something that goes on your resume before graduation, and then you have something that you can bring to the table. Now, you have to be able to articulate what did you learn from your internship that's going to help the company that you want to go to work for. But getting an internship can be very valuable. I had an intern one year who did an internship and realized he didn't want to work in that industry. Now, he stayed with the internship, but it was fantastic because he said, you know what, I always thought I wanted to work in this industry, and now having done this, I see that I really don't. And it was good for him to learn that before he graduated. So when he graduated, he knew, don't look over here for a job, just look over here. How do you get an internship? Well, if you go to Francis Marion and you're a business major, you come see me because I run the internship program and I can hook you up. If you're not a business major, but you attend Francis Marion, then you want to go to your academic advisor and find out within your major if internships are offered. At other universities, there is frequently an internship program director, either by the major or for the entire university. So you would check with your school to find out what the options are. And if you're not interested in doing an internship as part of a class, then you can also be looking at internships at different companies. So how do you find out what those are? Well, you might go to the Career Development Center on campus where you are and find out if they keep a list of internships, or you might identify some companies that you would be interested in, look on their website, or contact them directly and find out if they have internships. So hopefully that helps you understand more what an internship is, and should you get one, it really depends. It's up to you, but I'll tell you that they almost always help you and rarely hurt you. And I want to hear from you. What are some questions that you have and some topics that you would like to hear more about? And I also want to hear from you down in the comments. I'm going to give you a challenge right now. What is something that you're going to do this week for just 5 minutes? That thing that you're just like, oh, I really hate doing this. And remember, we said just get on it for 5 minutes and your motivation might kick in. So in the comments, share what that thing is that you're going to do. And remember, you can go to collegeonfleek.com for more hacks and for that Study Smart toolkit. Now, next week, we're going to talk about should you work while you're in school? Thanks for joining me on this week's episode of College on Fleek.